Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be discussing the key features and components of the SCOR framework or SCOR framework. First of all, what does SCOR stand for? Well, it stands for the Supply Chain Operations Reference. That being said, we know that this particular reference model is in relation to supply chain processes. It was designed by supply chain managers who often worked in companies that their supply chains crossed company borders, and they had to end up working with other companies. In order to have better comparisons and better understanding of the other companies, they created this SCOR reference framework to help standardize process terminology across other companies. The Supply Chain Council, or SCC, established the SCOR framework as a basic high-level model of supply chain processes in an effort to increase communication efficiency with other companies regarding supply chains. SCOR features. So we already talked about the ability to standardize the supply chain terminology across industries for quicker comparisons. It also gives us the ability to compare benchmark data in order to determine efficient and cost-effective processes in our companies compared to industry levels. It also gives us the ability to determine where or if a process needs to be re-strategized in our supply chain. For the purposes of this class, we will look at level 0 as being the company's value chain, and then level 1 is the given supply chain of the company. These processes need to be defined first. Once we know the level 1 supply chain of a company, we can go to level 2 of the SCOR framework. Level 2 is the high-level process of the supply chain. These level 2 processes are first defined and then taken apart into their level 3 processes. Level 2 processes are broken down into 4 different categories: source, make, deliver, and return. The planning process is applied to all 4 and can be used as a management planning process for each core process. So each of the level 2 processes need to have a planning management process. Level 3 breaks down each of the level 2 processes further. After level 1 and sometimes level 2 are examined, however, a company can use the SCOR framework to decide if the supply chain should be changed at that point. In Strategic Value of IT, we learned that you can't manage what you can't measure correctly, says Peter Drucker. Process process can be measured using the scorecard or SCOR card. It provides the means for measuring process performance. It compares data to benchmark data that other companies have submitted to the Supply Chain Council. That helps you determine where you're at in the industry and if your processes need to be fixed or how you compare to other companies, basically. In order to better understand the SCOR framework and how it applies, let's look at an example. At the end of Chapter 3, we see the HP Compaq merger and how they use SCOR framework to quickly measure processes from both companies in order to merge their supply chains. Using the SCOR framework allowed the merger to become a great success. It actually resulted in greater savings than they projected. The first step taken in the HP Compaq merger example for their supply chain processes was to first identify their level 1 SCOR framework definitions. Then they were able to identify high-level software that supported each process. Being able to quickly define their high-level supply chain processes for each company really saved them a lot of time and money. Since SCOR level 1 definitions are tied to financial measures that have been tracked for many years, these two companies were able to compare the regional product lines for cost-effective and efficient work. Something I really think that was important to recognize in the HP Compaq merger is that instead of focusing on their technical discussion of what application should stay and go, they really looked at their processes and tried to decide, which one meets our corporate goals, which one aligns better. If we're talking about our ISS triangle framework, we need to make sure that our technology supports our business strategy and our core values first. Before you can determine if the technology supports your processes, you need to decide if your processes ultimately support your business goals. Can you guys come up with any other examples besides the merger as to where the SCOR framework could be applied and become a beneficial tool for companies?